Neal versus Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Yeah, man. I mean, with this fight, welterweight, we always got such a tough division. You got speed, you got accuracy, you got power, and when it comes to those middle classes between, I would say 170 to 150s, that's just prime athleticism right there. So you got Neil, powerful striker. Definitely had a good run in the UFC. Got a couple knockouts over some good people. He beat, I think, Vincent LeCue, Perry, Nico Price, and Frank Camacho. Those are the people he knocked out. Was on a good streak until Wonder Boy stopped him a few years ago. And then he's been trying to returned to victory and got a couple wins, getting himself back. But like you said, that boy Rock, a lot of people honestly don't know his name. But like you said, he's nice, and I think he's undefeated. 16 in all his professional fights, 8 submission, 8 knockouts, 4 in the UFC. That's why people don't know him. So only had 4, and one of the recent ones a lot of people might recognize him from is him submitting Neil Magny. Magny, but he is well polished. Someone who's gonna come in and throw fireworks, and Neil is someone who's 100% gonna match, and that's why I definitely don't think that this fight will go the distance.
Hmm.
No way at all. You got them boys; they're about to go in there and pretty much do what they do. But pretty much, you know how it is, the lay of the land, and truthfully, that's kind of why the last couple cards haven't been the greatest is because they definitely been seeming to pair up strikers versus wrestlers a lot more lately.
Good point.
And
Good
this is
point.
another one of those cases, and
Yep.
that's why I don't think it's gonna go the distance. Geoff Neal, a lot more volume with the hands, a lot more technical in the feet. He's gonna definitely throw something, and he's gonna try to get a knockout. But at the end of the day, for me, the game changer is rocking his wrestling. While we know Neil isn't a slouch when it comes to grappling, obviously none of them are. He only really uses his grappling in certain defense instances. When it comes to Rock, he's pretty much absolutely up and down, just way better when it comes to being on the ground. He's gonna try to take the fight to him early. He's gonna be able to pretty much get him on the ground. Obviously, get a lot of ground control, but with those type of fighters, that ground control really isn't a lot of grappling or a lot of transitioning. They're gonna try to throw blows, and if he sees any opening, he's gonna go in for that submission. Um, but I definitely do think that at some point he's gonna open himself up, and I do think that Neil is gonna end up losing this fight by a submission, and
Hmm.
I do got it in the second round. But I don't think this fight is gonna go long, or like I said, go the distance. But I don't even think it's gonna get to the third round. Neil's gonna try to get gassed out a little too early, trying to end the fight, and then he's pretty much gonna get controlled in the second round. And I do think it can be a ground and pound situation where they pull him off. But I do think if that doesn't happen, they'll turn into a submission. What
Yeah.
about you? Who you got?
Ooh, I mean, to be honest, you pretty much laid it out very, very well, and you laid it out perfect, pretty much how I was gonna lay it out. I mean, like you said, you got Jeff, who's a knockout guy. He likes to start out hot and early, and he likes to use up a lot of his energy early. Both these guys, they've had a lot of success beating guys in the first round. So that's one thing that we're gonna have to watch because I think that they're both gonna be very energetic. You know, this is one of their best fights in both of their careers, and I definitely could see them both like using up their energy early. So we'll definitely have to see in the first round if Geoff Neal tries to use his striking ability a lot more and tries to keep himself away from Shava and really getting himself off the ground. Because, like you said, my man Rock is a monster on the ground. He's so good as a wrestler. He knows how to like get into so many different positions on the ground, and he's also very well at the defense, wrestling defense. He's very good at. That's what a lot of people are not aware of. He hasn't had many UFC fights, but I just recently watched his fight against Magna, and man, the way he took care of him, the way that even when he was on the ground, there was one point where um, Magna got on his back, but he was able to like literally slip away from it, and he's very good at slipping away from his opponents. In this fight, I pretty much see it very similar to what you see, and I really can't see much of this being a debate because this is one of those fights where I mean I think Rock is definitely the favorite, and him being 16-0, it shows that he could take care of business against a lot of competition in UFC competition, and they both had one guy that they've fought against, and it was Magny that was their the same opponent that they had, and Rock just beat him, and Jeff lost to him, which was like what 3 or 4 fights ago. So that's the one common opponent they have. I got this fight similar to you, except I actually have it as a knockout. I think that he is going to end up on top, and they're going to like stop it probably like around the second round as well, because I do think they're going to try to use up their energy in the first round, and Neal is not going to try to go down. He's going to try to keep himself away from the fence, and I think they're going to try to stay around the middle. He's definitely going to try to use a lot of those strikes, but with the length that Rock has and with the wrestling ability, I think that he's going to try to get some takedowns, and especially in the beginning of the second round. So I got this as knockout, second round.
No, 100%. It's definitely like I think I said actually before we started. I'm not even sure who the favorite was for this fight. But it does seem a clear consensus that most people know, even though one person is more experienced, we all see who has a little bit more skill. And like I said, lately you see the wrestling is just really causing a lot of problems for a lot of people lately, and that just seems what a lot of fighters are leaning towards, especially when you got the up and comers who are undefeated coming into the organization. They most of them don't have the hand skill, but they definitely know how to wrestle. They know how to grapple. They know how to transition, and pretty much as long as they keep building up their hands, a lot of them are just fierce competitors.
That's true. You're right about that. Striking versus wrestling has been a theme in the UFC this past year, and it looks like wrestling's been taking care of business. I mean,
Yep.
I'm not saying that Neil doesn't have knockout ability, because my man, out of his 15 fights, he's got 8 knockouts, and when he does knock people out, it's usually in the first round. So
Hmm.
one thing about him, if he gets a nice punch on you, I think that it, he can get your bell ringing, and then if you start getting a little bit of dizzy, he just moves forward on you. But I think that with Rock having a little bit more reach, I think he's going to be able to keep that distance away, especially in the first round.
Nah, 100%, and definitely, obviously, we got a couple youngsters starting off the main card, but this is definitely one to really start the fireworks off for the two co-main events.